is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hour number 3 of VSiN PrimeTime. We're live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas alongside Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. You know, we've had so many great guests, Matt, that I've forgotten about how Rory McIlroy completely... I was going to say something I probably shouldn't have said. Played poorly down the stretch as he finished the round even par 72. Your leader after the first round at the Masters, Justin Rose, a gentleman that you've got a lovely ticket in pocket on, Mr. Youmans.
I've not cashed it yet, though, Tim. 125-1 on Justin Rose, and congrats to Mitch Moss. He needed more money this week. He had fallen on hard times. Mitch, with Justin Rose, a first-round leader at 60-1. So Justin Rose being 7 under is a good thing for Mitch, good thing for me as we head to round 2. Let's talk some baseball.
Yeah, we're going to get to our guest here in just a moment. Chris Gimenez is going to join us here, former Cleveland Indian catcher, so we'll get to him in just a matter of a moment. I think they're doing some mic checks with him. While we wait to head to our guest line, let's get you an update quickly on the important game going on right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers leading 107-103, a fun game there in Indianapolis. Kenny Atkinson was ejected from this game as the Cavs have a 4-point lead right now, and they are 1.5-point favorites. Only one baseball game going on right now as the Phillies and Braves tied at 1 in the 7th. So let's talk a little bit
Weather
more.
delay, by the way.
More baseball, yes. Yeah. There we go, as they are dealing with a delay there. Chris Gimenez joins us right now, as mentioned, former MLB catcher, joining us courtesy of our progressive guest line. I want to start in the NL East, and you look at the start for the Atlanta Braves, Chris. Is this a concern for you, the way that they started the year, where they're 2-9 entering this game? They did lose yesterday to the Phillies. Of course, they go to San Diego, they go to LA, they lose all 7. Is it just a small blip, or is there overarching concerns in your eyes for this Atlanta Braves team?
No, actually, guys, I think this is just kind of a small blip, truthfully. If you look at the start of their schedule this year, they've had arguably the hardest schedule right out of the gate of any team in Major League Baseball, having to play the Dodgers for 3, having to play the Padres for 3, and then, mixing in the Phillies into this whole thing. That's 3 of the 5 best teams in the National League of your first 12 games. It's easy to see why, they may not have gotten off to a great start. Let's also not forget that they're not completely whole yet either. Spencer Strider, which should give them a little bit of confidence going into this. I think he punched out like 16 guys in his minor league rehab assignment today. That's got to be a nice boon going forward. But I wouldn't worry too much yet about the Atlanta Braves because they had a rough start to the season. They're not whole yet, but trust me, they're going to get on the right track real quick.
All right, Chris, how about the Los Angeles Angels? They win today 11-1 against the Rays in Tampa, and they are 8-4. I asked Adam Burke, our VSiN managing editor, about this in the first hour tonight. Angels are 8-4.
Sure.
Are they for real? Mike Trout homers twice. Say if Trout stays healthy, are the Angels for real?
Yeah, I mean, 2 honestly really good questions. And I think the easiest answer to that is if Mike Trout stays healthy, I don't want to say they're for real, but I think I like their chances a little bit better. The American League West is going to be difficult this year. You've got Houston, obviously. You've got Seattle, which I continue to write off, and hopefully that's doing them a solid because every year I write them off, their offense seemingly finds enough offense with that pitching to be competitive. But I want to see this for a little bit more than just a 2-week span. Yes, it's great to see. Do not get me wrong. Their pitching's been much better. Their bullpen has been as advertised, and offensively, they've been scoring some runs. Mike Trout staying healthy is obviously going to be a huge, huge point in this whole thing going forward. But with that being said, I need to see this for more than 2 weeks for me to really kind of buy into this team, just because I'm not necessarily buying their offense the way it's, competing right now. And I don't know if Mike Trout can stay healthy. I hate saying that, but it is kind of the truth. And to this point, we haven't seen him stay healthy long enough for the last 5 years. So right. I think it's a valid question.
Chris Gimenez joining us here courtesy of our progressive guest line, former MLB catcher, does some work for MLB Radio as well. Follow him on Twitter at Chris Gimenez 5. Chris, we're about 2 weeks in. Most teams have played around 12, 13 games. Has there been either good or bad? You know, we talked about the Braves off to the 2-9 start. You don't seem so concerned about that. Maybe it's an opportunity to buy on the Atlanta Braves and their futures. Is there a team that has surprised you, whether it be good or bad, based off of your preseason expectations?
Yeah, I think if I'm looking for a team, it's probably the Toronto Blue Jays, believe it or not. I've been really impressed with how I've seen them play as a whole. I know they lost tonight in extra innings to the Red Sox in a tight game, but they seem to be a little bit more offensive than I thought they were going to be. You know, obviously you have Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He just signed the $500 million deal for 15 years or 14 years. He's going to be there for the rest of his career. That's a good start. But Bo Bichette's had a nice start to the season. Anthony Santander hasn't really had a great start, but that gives me, you know, signs of positives of things to come for him because we know at some point he's going to hit. Where they've gotten a lot of production is the bottom half of their lineup. And again, I think that's a really positive thing for this team going forward. I like their bullpen better than, you know, I think other guys do. I think this bullpen is kind of sneaky, to be honest with you. And we know they've got some veteran established starting pitching. So I've been really impressed with the start that they've gotten off to, because in this division in particular, if they would have gotten off to a bad start, I think we would have wrote them for dead here early in May, and they haven't done that yet. So that at least gives me some, you know, some signs of comfort to come.
All right, right there in the state of Ohio, Cincinnati Reds off to a slow start. And that was a hot team in the offseason. We've talked about it with Terry Francona in the dugout. What do you see from the Reds so far? Where do you think they're headed?
It's been a dearth of offense, to say the least. You know, for them to, this is a dynamic offense, or it has the chance to be a very dynamic offense. Any offense with, you know, guys like Spencer Steer and Matt McClain, even though I know he's on the injured list now, but Ellie De La Cruz, like these are elite guys that are capable of doing a lot of really impressive things offensively. And they just, for whatever reason, have started off really, really slow. Again, I think as the weather heats up, this offense is going to heat up as well. They play in arguably the best ballpark in the big leagues to hit in, and there's too many really good hitters in this lineup on a daily basis, as long as they stay healthy, to really, you know, count them out at any point in time. Their pitching is an interesting, you know, thing there with this team. Their bullpen has a chance to be really good. Their starting pitching, again, has a chance to be really good. Brady Singer's been really good. I just think they need to continue to hit a little bit more, and I think they will do that here as the weather continues to warm up.
Chris, what do you make of the NL Central? Because you see the Brewers get off to the slow start. They've turned it around here, but you go out to Colorado, you get to beat up on the Rockies. That's also pretty helpful. But, you know, Jackson Chourio, he has the terrible, opening game or two. And then, you know, yesterday he has a ridiculous performance. So he's looking like a true superstar in the making there. Cubs have gotten off to a decent start here. The NL Central, when I look around all of baseball, feels like the most up for grabs division, in my opinion, with anyone really, maybe outside of the Pirates that could win this division. What do you make of the NL Central right now?
I honestly, I think it's a great point. I think this is a division that's potentially up for grabs. I was really big on the Reds early on in the offseason with the hiring of Terry Francona. Obviously, we've talked a lot about that. But, you know, it's hard to count a team like the Brewers out. I feel like every year we count the Brewers out, they seem to surprise everybody and rattle off 90 wins and have the best bullpen in the National League like they did last year. So, to me, the team in this division to beat is still the Reds. I'm not as high on the Cubs as most people are. I know they've gotten off to a decent start here early on in the season. I don't mean this in a negative way. I just don't think they're that good. And I don't know if they can really hold up, you know, to what we've shown from them offensively early on in the season. I think the Reds are still the team to beat. I think they're, you know, they have the most dynamic offensive players, at least in this division, 1 through 9. And I think in that ballpark, you can't take that out of context. That ballpark plays really, really big for this offense. And I just feel like it's the Reds division to lose, in my opinion. And I know that may be a hot take. It may not be. I'm just big on the Reds this year. I think their pitching is a little bit better, and I'm not as high on the Cubs.
All right, how about the torpedo bats? These were supposed to change the game. You know, the Yankees are going to be unstoppable. You know, we see a lot of overreactions early in the baseball season. What's your take on that issue?
The funny thing is torpedo bats have been around for like 15 years and nobody's ever really heard about it. Obviously, Giancarlo Stanton making them a little bit more famous last year in the playoffs. He was one of the guys using those in the ALCS against the Guardians last year, and it worked out great for him. But it's also potentially, I don't have any information to back this up, but this was said by him that this could be the cause for both of his elbow injuries. So that's obviously yet to be determined. But I think it's something that we see the analytics side of things, especially in pitching, right? We've seen it really take the next step the last 5 to 10 years in particular. I think this is the torpedo batter. At least some of the science behind it is starting to catch up from the offensive side of things. We talk a lot about exit velocities and launch angles. Well, this is part of the tools, in that toolbox to allow those things to happen. And yeah, it was probably a hot topic at the beginning of the year, but I do think this is something that's going to get forgotten about really, really quickly. And again, this has been around for a long time, and guys have taken advantage of it before. It just happens to be a hot topic now, and I think we're going to see this thing probably play itself out here real soon.
Chris, really appreciate the insight. Always love picking your brain.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime. Looking forward to it.
There he is, Chris Gimenez, longtime journeyman. I think that's fair to say in the major leagues. Played for the Indians, Mariners, Rays, Rangers, and Twins and Cubs as well. So we appreciate his insight. MLB Network Radio.
Always great baseball spots with him. Light night in MLB.
Yeah.
Obviously, Thursdays, that's going to be the case a lot of times, but we still have a weather delay in the Phillies-Braves game as well.
We'll hear from Wes Reynolds coming up bottom of the hour. We'll get his thoughts on the Masters moving forward. But up next, we'll hear from the first-round leader, Justin Rose, 7 under 65 for Mr. Rose, as we'll hear and take a look at the updated odds on the Masters boards. It is VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It is VSiN Primetime alongside Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. Wes Reynolds will jump on the program coming up bottom of the hour. We'll get his thoughts on round 2 and beyond of the Masters. Justin Rose is your first-round leader, and as pointed out by Todd Dewey of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, the Westgate Superbook hung a 60-1 price on Justin Rose to be your first-round leader. Our own Mitch Moss took a whack at it and was able to cash it. He was one of just 3 folks who grabbed that over at the Westgate Superbook. So we will get you updated on everything regarding the Masters. Matt, we do have a game coming down to the wire here in Indianapolis. The Pacers a 113-111 lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers, as I believe we just have an out of bounds there. So the Cavs will inbound here with 50 seconds to go, if I can see that accurately. So 113-111 is the score. The Pistons have regained the lead over the Knicks as they are trying to grab the 6th spot. And the Bucks, who are down after the first quarter, the Pelicans do lead 64-57. The Bucks with a win, I believe, I have to double-check tiebreakers. I believe they would secure the 5 seed. Bucks and Pistons wrap up the season with the home-and-home situation. Still to come tonight, we got T-Wolves and Grizzlies. And Grizzlies right now a 2-point favorite against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Top of the 7th, Braves and Phillies in a weather delay down in Atlanta. So 1-1 is the score there between the Braves and the Phillies, top of the 7th inning. Matt, Justin Rose, an impressive performance today. Did wrap up with a bogey on 18, but still hell of a performance from Jay Rose as he shot a 7 under 65. Before we hear from Justin Rose, your thoughts on his performance in the first round, and if you believe it is sustainable, as right now I'm looking at the live odds over at DraftKings Sportsbook, and Justin Rose is the 4th shot at plus 750 behind Scheffler, Oberg, and DeChambeau.
Yeah, actually, Justin Rose is the leader, mainly because he leads the tournament in putts per greens in regulation at 1.429. Like I said, the best in the field today. He was hot with the putter. And, Tim, that's how you go low. His driving accuracy was not great. Rose 64.3% in terms of driving accuracy. And that's not even close to the best in the field today. But the putter is what got him there. You got to think some of those putts probably not going to drop in the second round. I'm actually writing a little report and a recommendation on the Masters for the VSiN website that's going to go up tonight after, you look at round one, you look at the odds, the adjusted odds board for round two. What would you recommend? Tim, there are a couple plays here that actually jump out to me at DraftKings. I like Corey Connors at 18-1, or maybe Corey Connors top 5 at plus 230. That's a guy I really think is going to hang around. He was really accurate with his driver today. Connors, let's see when we get the numbers here. Corey Connors is 92.9% driving accuracy today. He was not in trouble. Pretty clean card for Connors, the Canadian, who has a pretty solid track record at Augusta. And that's, when you're handicapping the Masters, current form is a little bit of it, but course form is a lot of it. The guys who played well at Augusta in the past are probably going to play well this week. Corey Connors is one of those guys. Justin Rose, one of those guys. And, Tim, history tells us that the winner of this event is right now in the top 10, right?
Yes, that is the case. Last 20 years, outside of Tiger Woods, who was 11th after the first round in 2019 when he won the Masters, every winner has been in the top 10. How about this about Corey Connors? We talked a lot about Rory McIlroy, his meltdown, the double at 15, the double at 17. Colin Morikawa, bogey 15, bogey 16, bogey 18. How about the finish for Corey Connors? Birdie 15, birdie 17, birdie 18. Hell of a finish for Corey Connors. His round, 5 birdies and 1 bogey. Matt, what'd you make of Scotty Scheffler? Scotty Scheffler, a bogey-free round, 4 birdies, shot a 68 today. Scotty Scheffler did. He'll be back on the course tomorrow afternoon. He'll have a afternoon tee time. 1:23 is when he's slated to tee it off tomorrow in Augusta.
Yeah, it looks like right now at DraftKings, Scheffler is 2-1, plus 200. Circa's got plus 230,
plus
right?
230
so a little bit better
price,
number here if you like Scotty. I love my bets on Scotty. Plus 450, 5-1. Also got him top 5 minus 101, top 10 minus 177. Tim, you don't see him falling out of the top 5, do you?
No, I do not. And his odds right now, how about this? Your top 10 price is now minus $8, top 5 minus $3.
At
Man.
DraftKings?
So, those are some pretty good prices. It is worth noting, and I know I always make the joke that we should make T-shirts look around, but it is worth noting this, right? We sit here at Circa. They put up their adjusted odds. Corey Connors, plus 1250. DraftKings, Corey Connors, 18-1. So look around. You might be able to get a decent difference there. It is worth noting, Justin Rose, your leader, is plus 750 at DraftKings, plus 725 here at Circa. Let's hear from Justin Rose following his impressive first round, 7 under, 65 today at Augusta.
Obviously delighted to get off to such a great start, and that start definitely it happened out of the gates. So for the first few holes, everything was going exactly where I was looking, and certainly the first hole, which I think is definitely one of the trickier holes on the golf course, to knock in a nice 25-footer down the hill right to left is exactly what you need to settle yourself into the Masters. And then 2 and 3 are birdie opportunities. So yeah, to be 3 under through 3 kind of really got me on the front foot, and felt like I was playing great golf. And when I did find myself in a little bit of trouble, especially early, number 5, hold a great putt there for par. And then middle of the back 9, I felt like there were a couple of moments where the momentum could have changed, but really good up and downs on 14 and 15 to keep the round really hot. And yeah, obviously the only blemish on 18, but there's no point dwelling on that. I think it was a really good day's golf on a golf course that was a stern test. I think if you look at the overall leaderboard, not many low scores out there, so you had to hit a lot of quality shots, and delighted with the way I played.
Can't get off to a better start than that. Justin Rose, as he mentioned, 3 birdies right out of the gates. Birdie on 1, birdie on 2, birdie on 3. Was 5 under at the turn, Matt. Had a birdie at 8, birdie at 9, birdie 10, birdie 15, birdie 16 before wrapping up the round with a bogey on 18. But a 65 today for Justin Rose, 7 under, and has a 3-shot lead over Corey Connors, Scotty Scheffler, and Ludwig Oberg.
Justin Rose has a outstanding track record at Augusta, and he gets off to fast starts. He's had the first-round lead, I think, 4 times.
Wow.
This might be the 5th. He's been inside the top 5 something like 7 or 8 times at Augusta. And so no surprise to see him play well today. I'm going to ask Wes Reynolds when he joins us here in about 10 minutes, what do you think Justin Rose will shoot in round 2? Tim, what do you think he's going to shoot? I'll say 70.
I was going to say...
Off today's 65, 7 under 65. Today. What do you think tomorrow?
70 would be 2 under. I'll say I'll say 72. I'll say he struggles.
I think Wes is going to say something like 72 as well. Anyway, he's going to take a step back, and he was hot with the putter today, and some of those putts are not going to drop on Friday. It's just the way the game goes.
I was taking a look at what we have, if there is a price out there on Justin Rose. So Justin Rose, his second round score over-under is 72.5. Minus 130 under.
Here's another thing to consider. I just thought of this. There is rain in the forecast on Friday. The conditions are supposed to be a little bit tougher too, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, when the rain is expected to roll in and how Justin Rose might be affected by the weather on Friday, but that's something I'll ask Wes Reynolds because I'm sure he is studying that stuff tonight.
Now, Wes going to join us here in just a little bit. 7 minutes from now, we'll talk to Wes Reynolds to get his thoughts on the Masters and the adjusted odds that are out there. Once again, Rory McIlroy, he has dropped down the board at 12-1, plus 175 for him to finish top 5 at DraftKings, and still minus 140 after looked like he was off to maybe a opportunity to complete the Grand Slam, not to be, as at least for yesterday, or for today, I should say, with the double on 15 and 17. Quick update from Indianapolis, 113-112 with 9 and change to go, 9 seconds, a little over 9 seconds to go, with the Pacers leading the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hey, just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our VSiN Watch app wherever you get your apps, the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and you can check it out. It has the ability to stream it right to your smart television, and you can also check out show replays. You can watch shows based off of what sports you want to hear discussed as well. So check it out, the VSiN Watch app, wherever you get your apps. You can also listen to all of our programming, which includes, tomorrow we will be preempted here on SiriusXM, so make sure you have that VSiN Watch app if you want to hear from Matt Youmans and Jonathan Von Tobel tomorrow night here on VSiN Primetime. Only baseball game still on the board is in a rain delay right now down in Atlanta, Georgia. 1-1 is the score, top of the 7th inning between the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. So that game right now currently sitting in a rain delay. Coming up in just a little bit, we will have the Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves right now a 2-point favorite. Bucks have an 8-point lead, 13.5-point in-game favorite over the Pelicans right now. And the game we are currently keeping our eyes on with 9 seconds to go, Pacers a 2-point lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pacers with a win would lock up home court in the first round. Wes Reynolds, he's going to help us break down the adjusted odds for the Masters. That's Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. Come on back. It's VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It has gone final in Indianapolis. The Pacers will host a playoff series for the first time since 2014 as the Pacers hold on to beat the Cavaliers 114-112. And the closing number, because of the number of Cavaliers that were out tonight, was Pacers minus 10. So the Cavaliers, a pretty easy and comfortable cover. That's Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. Let's head to our progressive guest line, where our next guest already has an article up on vsin.com, along with Kelly Bidlin, with observations and suggestions heading into round number 2. Before we get to it, I do want to get a quick thought as this game's going to get going here in just a little bit. Minnesota and Memphis. Right now, Minnesota, a short favorite on the road at Memphis here tonight, Wes. Looks like moneyline price is kind of in that minus 130, minus 135 range. Any thoughts on Minnesota at Memphis tipping off here momentarily?
Yeah, I did make a small bet on the Wolves here. Memphis has lost 3 in a row at home, looking to snap that skid. They're both part of that log jam right now in the Western Conference, where you have, I think, one game separating about 5 teams. T-Wolves right now would be in the 8th spot. Memphis would be in the 6th. I just trust the T-Wolves a little bit more of that playoff experience and that deep run they made last year. NBA sides, not exactly my strength as a sports bettor, in full disclosure here, but did lay a little money line with the T-Wolves tonight on the road.
All right, let's get to the Masters as you have an article up as we talked about. Let's start with the leader. Justin Rose, 7 under is where he is at right now. What are you expecting to do with Justin Rose, if anything, in round 2 and moving forward here in the Masters after he puts in a 65 today?
Yeah, probably not much, Tim, to do with Justin Rose. By the way, this is now the 5th time he has either been the outright or co-leader after the first round. And if you look at based on the history, 2004, he finished T22nd. 2007 T5, 2008 T36, 2021 7th, 2025 to be determined, but yeah, I don't think he's going to probably hold up considering the fact that he gained 5.27 strokes putting today, and that was almost 2 strokes more than anybody in the field on the greens. And that just has so much variance round to round. These greens are super fast. Bent grass greens are going to get even faster on the weekend, even though we may get a little bit of a shower tomorrow. So we may get some softness in the greens for at least a couple hours. But they have the air dryers there, and the underneath the greens dry. So these are going to be super fast. I don't think Rose is going to hold up, but very popular first-round leader pick, and there was a reason why, considering he'd done it 4 times before, make it number 5.
Yeah, Justin Rose, a player I've got at 125 to 1. Wes, I do not expect him to hang on through the weekend. Like you said, he was red hot with his putter today, and that's going to cool off. Who do you think can make a move here? And history tells us the winner of this tournament is sitting in the top 10 right now. Do you like Corey Connors? Do you like Bryson DeChambeau? Anybody you like in the top 10?
Yeah, and it's been that way, Matt, since 2006, I think, with the exception of when Tiger won in 2019, and he was 11th after the first round, so he wasn't all that far off the pace. But if you're going shorter, because Scotty, of course, is the favorite right now at 2 to 1, like the way Ludwig Aubert hit the ball today. He led the field for strokes gained off the tee. He was runner-up here last year. I wasn't sure about him coming in because I placed a ticket a couple months ago on him. Didn't give it out this week, as like an official release, but had something on him because I wasn't that confident in him because he gained 8 strokes putting over 4 rounds here last year. So I thought, maybe that was a little bit deceiving, but it wasn't deceiving today based on how he hit the ball. So Ludwig, in terms of like a shorter guy at 6 to 1, if you want to go in play. And then if you want 2 longer guys that are both in that top 10, Tyrrell Hatton 4 back at 3 under, 25 to 1. Can he keep that temperament, and keep it calm and not get mad when he makes a mistake? Because we've seen that before with Tyrrell Hatton. He's a world-class player, but he makes a mistake and sometimes let it get the best of him and then falls by the wayside. And then I was impressed with Akshay Bhatia late, 45 to 1 now in play. He is 5 back at 2 under par. Got himself in the top 10. He was in that group, by the way, with Ludwig and with Rory, and bogeyed number 15 when it all kind of fell apart for Rory late in the round today, and then birdied 16, 17, and 18. So maybe he carries that momentum over into Friday. Those guys are one of the early groups out tomorrow. So like the way that Akshay played today, maybe a sneaky dark horse.
Wes Reynolds with us. Wes, I'm going to ask you here in a minute about the top two guys on the odds board going into the tournament, Scotty and Rory. But last night we had a Masters gambling draft at Oasis Bar and Grill here in Vegas. Plenty of pro bettors, including Chris Zanook and others, bookmakers, Nick Bogdanovich, Vinny Maiulo, Tony Miller, Jay Cornegay, showed up at the draft last night. You and Brady Cannon are a team, and you drew the card out of the bucket that gave you the top pick. You drew the ace. You had the top pick. You did not take Rory. You did not take Scotty. You took Colin Morikawa. Can you explain that decision and your disappointment right now?
Well, I don't really want to explain that decision right now, to be honest with you, even though I did bet Colin Morikawa. And look, he looked good. He eagled 13. He got to the tie for the lead with Scotty, and then he bogeys 3 of the last 5 holes and now gets in at even par. So probably out of it. But of Rory or Scheffler, I would have went with Rory. So I would have picked the wrong one, at least in that regard, considering he was about to go 5 under on the back nine. He was in the fairway at number 15, sails the green, which DeChambeau did, but was able to kind of recover and get a birdie in the very next group. And then he chips it and doesn't hold the green, goes in the water. He ends up taking a 7 and then ends up taking another double bogey on number 17. So Rory ends up even par and 7 back, and that's been the whole story for Rory. And I added a little piece of him today, thinking, okay, finally he's gonna be within a couple shots of the lead. Even if he hiccups, he's going to be like 3 under and feel very good about himself going forward in this tournament. And what Rory did today, he was 3rd in the field today for strokes gained ball striking off the tee plus approach, and was kind of, I think he might make a run to get on the periphery of contention. Minus 130, minus 140 right now for a top 10. So I don't think he's going to quit, but the career Grand Slam may have to wait till 2026. But yeah, do have some regrets about Morikawa, number 1. Kind of, tried to go against the grain, and sometimes you just need to keep it simple.
If you had to pick one to win right now, one player to win, if your life depended on it, they said if you had a gun to your head, would you pick Scotty?
Probably, but I don't. It's tough to defend. We know it is. 2002 was the last time a Masters champion defended his title, that being Tiger Woods. Scotty also trying to be the first guy since Jack Nicklaus in 1966 to win 3 of 4 years at the Masters. So, of the guys, I like Ludwig. I like the way he hit the ball today. He was great off the tee. He was very patient. He was very composed. Nothing seemed to faze him, especially when he made a mistake. He didn't compound mistakes like certainly Rory McIlroy did and certainly Colin Morikawa did that may have taken them out of contention, at least if history is our guide.
Once again, Wes Reynolds giving us his latest on the Masters. You can check out his write-up right now on VSiN.com. Kelly Bidlin has some thoughts as well. Matt's going to throw in an article here shortly, too. Wes, I know we're waiting for some matchups to show up, but anyone that you're either looking to play on or play against as we wait for these matchups to start to pop here at shops across the country?
You'd probably have to play against Rose just based on how he putted. That doesn't mean I think he's going to fade into oblivion on this leaderboard. But when you gain that much with the putter, that's just so hard to keep going. Almost gaining 5.5 strokes. I think Grazerman was next behind him at 3.7. Scotty gained a lot with the putter too today, by the way, 3 strokes, as did Corey Connors. And we know that that's the weak club in Corey Connors' bag, is the putter. But one thing I will say for putting here at Augusta, because the greens are super fast, it almost brings more players into play, and you will see shaky putters. Remember one time Matsuyama was a shaky putter and he won here 3 years ago. So I would be looking to maybe fade some of the strong putting guys. I don't know who Fred Couples is going to be matched up with, and credit Fred, he gets in at 1 under par at age 65.
Yeah.
Great story, but I maybe he'll be matched up with another senior, matched up against like a Mickelson or somebody like that who very much disappointed today. But a lot of the putting guys, that's at least the first thing I look at, Tim, when I want to do round by round matchups, is who putted just super well off the charts, because it usually is going to regress the very next round.
Wes, let me jump in real quick. Matchups that is out there: Justin Rose versus JJ Spawn. It's about a pick 'em. Some shops have Spawn plus money. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, look, Spawn's been hitting his irons really well all season. I know there are a lot of people that liked him as a dark horse. He shoots 2 over par, T51. Lost with the putter, lost about a stroke, but was decent tee to green. I would lean Spawn in that matchup to shoot better in round number 2.
Wes, what does Justin Rose shoot in round 2, and how is the weather going to impact play Friday? We got about 20 seconds.
I'm going to say he shoots 2 over and goes 5 under into the weekend. Weather might soften the course for the afternoon guys, but the winds are going to be lighter in the morning, so maybe that gives the morning groups an advantage.
There he is, Wes Reynolds, at Wes Reynolds 1. Make sure to follow him there. Read his content over at VSiN.com. By the way, he'll be on the VSiN Weekend Morning Line both Saturday and Sunday with me to get you updated on the Masters. Is VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hey, if you want to rewatch Rory McIlroy pee down his leg. You can check it out right now. They're showing the replay on.
Pee down his leg is not the phrase you used during the commercial break.
No, that is there might have been a little bit stronger words.
Yeah.
I think FCC would get mad at VSiN if I utilized the words that I said during the break.
Apparently, on the Pat McAfee show, you can say anything on ESPN, right?
I mean, there are no rules. Even though apparently he told the crowd in Pittsburgh yesterday that he's been canceled 100 times. Okay, buddy. You do you there, Mr. McAfee. I wish I had his check. That's all to say about that. Wes Reynolds just joined us and gave us a couple thoughts on maybe some longer shots. Akshay, is it Bhatia or Bhatia?
Akshay Bhatia.
Bhatia, 45-1 right now as he sits inside the top 10. I did take a little plus 550 on him to finish top 5, so a little dart there. And I also took J.J. Spawn at plus 105 at our friend Chuck Esposito's shop to beat Justin Rose tomorrow in a head-to-head matchup.
I believe that was Wes Reynolds' recommendation, right?
Yes. He said a lean there on that one. But
that sounds like Wes not very optimistic about Justin Rose here in round 2.
No.
I mean, he had a red-hot putter. It's probably going to go cold. Friday, the weather could impact him a little bit. I would be thrilled if Justin Rose shot 70 on Friday. Wes says 74.
Yeah.
So that's over that prop of 72.5, right?
Yep, that is.
Is that prop at DraftKings? Where'd you find that?
DraftKings, yeah, that's where I saw that. They have a couple matchups as well, so check that out if you do have access to DraftKings wherever you may be.
And you have to price shop and price compare because whether it's at the Red Rock Sportsbook here at Circa or DraftKings, I'm already, and even the Westgate Superbook, I'm seeing some drastically different prices on some of these players in the futures market, or top 5, top 10 finishes headed into Friday's second round. Just give you an example. If you like Corey Connors at DraftKings, you get Connors at 18-1.
Yep.
Here at Circa, what is it?
1250.
1250, yeah. About 12-1. So Bryson DeChambeau plus 650 at DraftKings, 8-1 here at Circa. Just a couple of them I've noticed, and there's some other really big differences here on the futures board.
Let me ask you about Corey Connors. We've talked about him a little bit. Based off of what we saw today, and I'm looking at 18-1, as you mentioned, at DraftKings to win it, plus 1250 here at Circa. I'm looking at Chuck Esposito's Stations Casino. I like how I've now given Chuck the ownership of Stations. 15-1 over there to win it, plus 250 to finish in the top 5. Do you think what we saw from Corey Connors is sustainable over the next 3 rounds?
I do. He's played well here in the past. I'd say his driving accuracy was off the charts on Thursday in the first round. I was looking this up. If you go to the scoreboard and click on the player stats, Corey Connors, 92.9% driving accuracy. And also, why Justin Rose is leading right now, putts per greens in regulation, Justin Rose 1.429. That's by far the best in the field right now. Bryson DeChambeau, not too far behind him, I guess. Tom Hoagie, Bryson DeChambeau. And your guy, Akshay Bhatia, is there as well.
My new guy.
If you're driving it and finding fairways and you get hot with the putter, that's a formula for success at Augusta. And I think Corey Connors can continue to do that. I think Bryson DeChambeau can too. I kind of like DeChambeau's chances going into the weekend. I think he started to figure out Augusta National. He was a little bit too cocky a few years ago. He got humbled, and I think he's, the scientist that he is. I think he's starting to figure out this course.
I don't even know if I should watch it. Should I watch the terrible chip from Rory McIlroy?
It's just mind-boggling because he's played the course so many times. You're behind the green on the 15th, and that's a downhill green. Everything's feeding toward the water. Tim, you cannot hit that shot. That's a rookie mistake by Rory, who's been there many times, and that led to his downfall today, and I don't think he's going to be able to recover from that. I expect those type of things from Rory at Augusta, which is why I never bet him in the Masters.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how he does respond, and if he,
almost
melts.
like he's psyched out by the place.
Yeah.
That's a major mental mistake you cannot make as a veteran.
And the first 14 holes, I think a lot of us were thinking, wow, here we go.
Yeah.
This could be. Look, a lot of smart people thought this was going to be the week that Rory would finally get the proverbial monkey off his back. You did not. And you're looking smart right now as right now, Justin Rose, your leader, and Rory McIlroy sits at even par.
One thing I'll say about Justin Rose, he's got a 3-stroke lead with 3 rounds to go. That means very little.
Yeah.
Even if you have a 3-stroke lead and Scotty Scheffler's behind you going into the final round, it wouldn't mean a whole lot, right? So you can't make too much of this right now. I'm thrilled that Justin Rose is there at the top and the Scotty Scheffler's in second, but Tim, it's like the end of the first quarter in an NBA game, right? You got 3 quarters to go. We got a long way to go.
Well, speaking of which, the NBA right now, the late night game, Minnesota and Memphis. The Timberwolves have a 25-24 lead. That one with 4 and change to go in the first quarter. An important game for both of these squads as they're in that collective jumble there in the middle of the Western Conference standings. Right now, Memphis sits, I believe, in the 6th spot, and Minnesota in the 8th spot after their tragic loss earlier this week to the Milwaukee Bucks. By the way, the Bucks up big on the New Orleans Pelicans, and this is the beauty of live betting, right? You could have got in on the Bucks at around -9.5 after the end of the first quarter. They're now up 23. Looks like they will take care of that pre-flop number as well. Minnesota right now a 3.5-point favorite currently from an in-game price. I did want to hit on what Wes Reynolds mentioned, which is just pretty wild to note. And once again, we talked about Mitch Moss hitting this best bet earlier today of Justin Rose to be the first-round leader. You mentioned it, Matt. This is the 5th time that Justin Rose has been the leader or co-leader at the end of the first round, and Wes Reynolds talked about it, and he mentioned it in his article. In 2004, Rose finished tied for 22nd. 2007, tied for 5th. 2008, tied for 36th. Last time he had the first-round lead was 2021. He finished in 7th. So I know you've got a great ticket right now in pocket.
Can we
Justin
just
Rose.
stop the Masters right now?
That'd be nice.
Let's just stop it right now.
Call down there and be like, "Yeah, we're good. Can we just can we end it right now so I can cash the 125-1 that you have in pocket there?" So,
well, I guess I should have bet him first-round leader.
Yeah.
That's one market. Jeff Sherman from the Westgate Superbook was on Follow the Money yesterday. Mitch Moss asked him, "Who do you like? If you're going to bet the first-round leader market?" And Jeff says, "Justin Rose might not be a bad play." So Mitch Moss plays it and hits it at 60-1 odds today. The week of Mitch Moss continues here at VSiN.
And once again, the trend that has been mentioned a number of times here tonight, the leader, or excuse me, in order to win the Masters, at least over the last 20 years, you have to be in the first round. So since 2006.
You have to be in the top 10.
Yes, top 10, excuse me. So since 2010, the only golfer to win the Masters was Tiger Woods, who was 11th at the end of the first round in 2019. Since 2006, every other Masters champ has been in the top 10. So that would limit your field currently, Matt, to Justin Rose, of course, who is your current first-round leader, Corey Connors, Scotty Scheffler, Ludwig Oberg, Tyrrell Hatton, Bryson DeChambeau, Aaron Rai, Harris English, Jason Day, Akshay Bhatia, and that would be it. So those are your winners right there.
You got to be 2 under or better in the top 10 right now to have a shot to win this thing, according to history. That means Freddie Couples is out. Freddie Couples 1 under. What do you think he goes out and shoots on Friday?
Man, I don't want to think that he shoots poorly, but he probably will. 76? Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. Would you, if we set it at 75.5, would you go over or under? Hope with the old guy, 65?
I think I'd go under. I think he's going to shoot 74 or 75. How about that?
Yeah.
And, Tim, I'm not going to bet big on it. It would be a small bet. The game of golf is so weird. You've seen guys go out one day and shoot a 62 and then go out the next day in the same course and shoot 79.
Yep.
So don't think that don't overreact to what happened in the first round today as a bettor.
Well, hopefully.
But there are some guys who have played their way out of it.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that in the final hour tonight because there are some guys that if you bet, you can go ahead and rip up your ticket or use it as toilet paper because they are out.
I think Nick Dunlap's going to have a hard time to win the Masters.
Russell Henley, too. And there's more to the list.
And including Sepp Straka, who I put a very, very small wager on. I'm going to go ahead and light that ticket on fire.
I heard numerous handicappers this week touting Sepp Straka.
I fell for it.
Guess what? We've got 94, 95 players in the field. 94. Sepp Straka is tied for 87th. He is not going
think he's
to cash those top 20 bets or win bets.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, folks, the Masters is here, and our partner ProfitX is offering the best odds all tournament long. Maybe some good Sepp Straka odds. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, the first of its kind in the U.S. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against the sports books. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today and use the code VSiN, that's VSIN, earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month.
This is your before and after story. Instead of imagining a rewarding career in medical imaging, Southeastern College can actually take you there. Prepare for a career in ultrasound, radiology, and X-ray technology. With hands-on specialized training, simulations, and real-life experience with the latest imaging technology, you'll be ready to play a vital role on any healthcare team. Transform your life by helping others. Southeastern College. Your future is bright. Visit scc.edu to get started.